Thank you, Beverly. So, May 28th, 1:30 p.m. I hit publish. Finally! And Beginnings, which is actually the first part of a 4-part series.
Wow.
Yeah, tell me about it. The thing was, it didn't even start out that way. Back in 2012, I had this idea for a short story. I even had the title, Time for Coffee, about 2 people who meet on Sunset Boulevard after years, and they don't have a lot of time, but they do have time for coffee, and they find out what happened to them way back when, and where they are now, and it ended, and I never wrote this. Yeah, procrastination. And by the time I finally thought about writing it, there was so much to write. I mean, it had marinated in my head. I didn't know how to write it as a short story. And then around October, Tony reminded me that the NaNoWriMo Challenge was coming up. That's the novel writing challenge, 30 days to write a 50,000 page novel. And I didn't know if I had 50,000 words, but I said, well, why not? So I started writing on November 1st, 2012. And I hit 50,000 words on Thanksgiving Day, which was November 20th. I finished the story on the 30th at just over 80,000 words.
Wow.
Okay, and I was okay with that, and I put it away after the first year. I got it out again, and I read it. Boy, that was a bad first draft. And I realized that I had a pretty good beginning, and I had a really good end, and I kind of ignored the middle. And I really liked and respected my characters too much to not tell their entire story. And that's, maybe 50, 60 pages on each of them. I kept writing. And I kept writing. And I kept writing. And I believe we were somewhere in 2014 by this point, where Tony finally asked me, said, maybe you should have someone read it. I think I'm too close, that's how we got out of it. And Dan Farron was the first person to read my entire manuscript. I'm afraid to ask you how many pages it was.
Oh,
it was a lot of pages. It was a lot of pages. But he gave me gave me a really good critique, and I felt compelled to keep going. Dory Mahler, who is not here tonight, also read it, and she, I think, was the one who finally said, you really might want to think about getting this out there. And I guess I suppose if I'm writing, yeah, maybe I do want to publish this. My sister, Maria Mackenzie, published author, she said, why not? And I kept going, and going, and going. 2015, I realized Dan actually told me I did not have a novel, that I had more like 3 or 4. Have you thought about a series? I wanted to write a short story. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with myself, but I guess the hardest part of everything was stopping. And a few weeks ago, I finished, literally, I went back into my manuscript and I changed literally 1 word. I can't even tell you what the word was, but the funny thing was, emotionally, I knew I was done. I mean, I hadn't felt that, and I don't know how many times I said, done, finished, over. This time, it felt right. So, a couple of Fridays ago, we actually get published and people are reading. Yeah, that's scary. People are reading what I put out there, and it's great. It is a romance. And every once in a while, I would think, my God, I mean, is this even realistic? I mean, do people really meet after years and years and get back together? And every time I had a thought like this, I'd hear a story on the news about somebody, high school sweethearts who were separated by time. In one case, a continent. She was an exchange student from Australia. They got back together. Some of you might remember a story told here at Story Salon. I think we were at the other place that was incredibly romantic about running into someone from their past and a romance formed out of this. I mean, half of us were in tears that night. And it seemed like every time I hit a wall, something would inspire me to keep going. And I talked to a lot of men, I talked to a lot of women. And my two characters are Mark and Lauren. I found out that a lot of men have a Lauren somewhere in their past, and then a lot of women have a Mark somewhere in their past. Right.
I got a question.
You can, okay, sure.
Okay, so is there somewhere in your past, is there a Mark somewhere in your past?
You bet there is. Mark. Okay, and I'll tell you about it. I was a 19-year-old girl in college who fell in love with a 19-year-old boy who unfortunately was going to college in New York City. So I was kind of doomed before it started. I don't think he ever knew how I really felt about him. But he drove me crazy. And I remember I was in New York one weekend and I saw him, and it was a really, really nice time together. And I remember a few days after I got back to Boston, I got a letter, and he said, don't remember exactly, but he would always value my friendship. And it broke my heart. It really did. So, yeah, I guess that would be my Mark back when I was in college, but he's there. I think, honestly.
Donna, could you tell us anything about writer's block in like 30 seconds?
30 seconds? You write through them. Simple as that, you write through them. I'm inspired by things around me, and I always write to music. And my playlist for the series was rather eclectic. It was like Chopin, Billy Joel, Rachmaninoff, an artist by the name of Nathan East, Tizer, David Benoit.
Yep.
And usually I'd be crying during David Benoit, but it got me to where I was going emotionally, so.
What was the hardest part about this process?
Stopping. And I think no one was happier for me to stop more than my husband. He was sick of all the characters living in our apartment with us. So I think of everyone who's probably the happiest. And honey, now that I've stopped, I hope that you read it. www.paulagainseries.com. Tell you a little bit more, give you a little bit more insight. Thank you for your support here. Oh, hi.
Another inappropriate question. Is it on Amazon?
It is on Amazon.com.
Okay, because I looked for it under Donna Figueroa and I didn't find it.
It is there. I will give you a card.
Okay.
I'll give you a card.
Give me a link.
Okay, and anyone else who would like it, I'll be more than happy to give you one. So again, thank you. Part of this was possible because of you here at the salon. Thank you.